The 0.30 release of the Cake.Recipe extension for Visual Studio Code brought with it a new command in addition to the one command that was there before. So if I go into Visual Studio Code here and go up to the command palette and type Cake.Recipe, in addition to the Cake.Recipe command, there's now a Cake VSCode recipe. So if I click on the first one, it's going to function in exactly the same way as it did before. It's going to ask you for the name of the script and then the name of the folder that your source code resides in, and then it's going to ask you for something like the owner or the organization that the repository that you're working in lives in, and then it's going to ask you for the name of something. So let's just put in cake.recipe here as an example, and what that's going to generate is a build.cake file, or in this case a recipe.cake file, that is pre-configured to use that Cake.Recipe package. So the command that's been added is one for a new recipe package that I've created, which is specifically for building VS Code extensions. So in this one, if we click on this, it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to prompt you for a name of a file. So I'm going to call it something different. Then it's going to ask me for the name of the organization or owner. So in this case, I'll just use get13 again, and I'll put in Cake.Recipe. So it provides exact same functionality, but it's the set of the setup script that's required specifically for this Cake VS Code recipe rather than Cake.Recipe itself. So the main distinction there is Cake.Recipe is really geared towards building, compiling, and testing a .NET application, whereas the Cake VS Code recipe is specific to building and compiling and releasing a VS Code extension. So it got to the point where I've got 4 or 5 VS Code extensions now that I am in charge of. So rather than having a set of scripts or compilation scripts in each of those repositories, I centralized that into this thing that I've called the Cake VS Code recipe. So it's up on NuGet. I'll put some links to a blog post where I explain more information about that in the show notes for this video. So feel free to check it out. Hopefully this is of use to you. Thank you very much.